It's Mr. Montgomery again. Today we're just going to do some review for Unit 6 that we just finished up. So at the very top of the paper that I'm on in the workbook, it says Topic 6. And then if we go down to the bottom of the page and check out the page number, you should be on page 275. 275. Okay? If you're not on that page yet, what I would like for you to do is hit that space bar, pause the video immediately, and then make sure that page is open. If you're already open to page 275, well, we're just going to get started. So let me shrink this page back down here. And remember, Unit 6 is all about making sure that you know what a tally is, a tally chart, how to count tallies and write them the correct way, along with picture graphs. So we're going to go over a little bit of everything. Okay. Try to make sure this isn't too blown up. Should be good. Okay. So here's all the data, right? All the information we have in a tally chart or a picture graph is called data because it's information. It's just like the big kid word that we use for information. You're going to hear that a lot in the future when you're in science classes and stuff. Okay, so it says right here, Jimmy asks 10 friends what meal takes the longest to eat. Okay, so we're just getting someone's opinion on how long it takes them to eat either breakfast, lunch, or dinner. So let's check out the first one. It says, how many friends said dinner was their longest meal? Now I'm going to underline longest because to me that's just super important. Okay, and remember, and all these friends are saying that they voted on what meal they think is the longest to eat. So, how many friends said dinner was the longest? Because that's the category that we're looking for. So, I want you to try this on your own really quick. Tell me how many friends said dinner was the longest meal. Okay, if you need some more time, I'm actually going to move a little bit faster in this video than previously. If you need extra time, hit the spacebar to pause. Then whenever you're ready to continue, hit the spacebar again to resume the video right where you left off, okay? But if you're still on the video play, I'm assuming that you are all good to go. All right, so we're going to check dinner and see how many friends voted that it is the longest. Ready? So count each tally, and each tally is just worth 1. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 goes diagonally, and then 6. So 6 friends said that dinner was the longest. Okay, let's check out number 2. How many friends said breakfast or? That's a big deal having the word or. Breakfast or dinner was their longest meal. So, when they actually say it like this in a sentence, breakfast or dinner, they want you to add both of them together. It's kind of like saying, the words, oh, let me see if I can squeeze those words in here. It's kind of like saying in all. So, when we're using a chart and they said how many friends said breakfast or dinner, they want you to combine those two. Okay? And you can actually make a little addition sentence to help you out. Okay? So I gave you guys a big hint. I told you that we need to add, and I compared it to the words in all. So check breakfast and dinner and see what your total is. All right, if you're still working on this, that is a-okay. If you're still working on it, hit that space bar again to pause the video. If you're all done, well, we're going to continue and find out what the total is and how we got that answer. Okay, so for breakfast and dinner, that is 9 friends. And maybe some of you are thinking, how on earth did you get the number 9? Well, I'll show you real quick. So, we look at breakfast. We have 3 tally marks. So that is number 3. I'm going to put that in my addition sentence right there. 3. For dinner, well, we have 5, 6 votes. And remember, as soon as you see like that diagonal line going across, just immediately think 5. Okay, because it's like a mini bundle. You always have 5, and then you can just start counting on from there, and it'll just be a lot quicker. Okay, so now that we have our addition sentence all set up, now we just have to think 3 plus 6. What is 3 plus 6? Well, that is just 9. And that's how we got the answer of 9 friends voting for dinner or breakfast. Okay, so if you have any more questions about tally charts, if you're in my class, please make sure you ask me at the end of the lesson. If you maybe you're in a different school or a different classroom, please make sure you ask your teacher if you're confused about any of this, okay? All right, and now we're going to scooch on down the paper, and we're going to move on to a picture graph. I think picture graphs are just fun. Let me shrink this down just a smidge. There we go. Perfect. Okay, remember, in a picture graph, each picture is worth just 1. So for these red blocks, we just have 3, right? 1, 2, 3. For the yellow, we just have 1. For the blue, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's how many people voted for each category. All right? And the cool thing about this is that they already kind of set up a number sentence for us with blank spaces. So no matter what we do, we already know that we're going to be subtracting. So they took half the trouble away from us of figuring something out. All right, let's read number 3. All right. How many more friends chose breakfast than lunch? Okay, normally if we see this word than, it's pretty special because it usually means to subtract no matter what. All right. So they want us to subtract, right? Because we see the word than, breakfast, and lunch. All right. So there's actually 2 ways we can solve this. Of course, I'm gonna just have you try the number sentence first, and then I'll show you my special way that I figure this out, which I think is just a lot faster. But go ahead and write the number sentence out for subtracting breakfast and lunch. Let me know what you get. Okay, now if you're still working, please pause the video again, hit that space bar. When you're all set, press the space bar again. For my friends that are done, let's move on. So let's look at breakfast and lunch and which one has the most. Actually, let's go down here and write down all the votes just so we have the numbers. We have 3 votes for breakfast, 1 vote for lunch, and then we had 6 for dinner, right? So we're just going to be using the 3 and the 1 to subtract. We always put the 3 first because when we subtract, you have to put the biggest number first. There are no excuses. And then we can put the 1 next. 3 minus 1 is 2. So there was 2 more votes. Now the way I like to do this, because to me it just makes sense, maybe it'll help you out and make sense for you also. Now when I have a picture graph like this, I call it the holding hands method. Now we're comparing breakfast and lunch. All right, well, let's have them hold hands when they're next to each other. Breakfast and lunch are holding hands. Okay, how many friends don't have one to hold hands with? 2. There's 2 breakfast blocks that don't have a lunch block next to it to hold hands with. So then that still gives us the answer of 2. See? To me, that's just my easy way of doing it. Everyone has their own methods. All right, let's move on. Number 4. how many more chose dinner than breakfast? So you're comparing dinner and breakfast. I am not going to say any more. Go ahead and solve this one on your own. All right, if you're still working, please do me a favor and hit that spacebar, pause the video, or you can move your mouse around onto the video and click on it, and that will pause it too. Whichever way works for you, go ahead and pause the video. If you are all set and you have finished this, let's go over it. Okay, so comparing dinner and breakfast, which number is the bigger one? 6 or 3? It is, of course, 6. And then next we would put the 3. 6 minus 3 is, of course, 3. So there are 3 more. Or if you want to use the holding hands method, even though they're far apart, we can still do it. These 2 hold hands, these 2, and these 2. How many don't have someone to hold hands with? 1, 2, 3. Either way, you still get the same answer. We have 3 blocks that have nothing next to them to hold hands with, or 6 minus 3 is 3. Either way, you get the same answer. So let's go ahead and move on to the next page, to page 276. Okay, now on page 276, we have a different picture graph. We're no longer dealing with breakfast, lunch, or dinner. We're dealing with sports and what friends voted for. So for number 5, I will explain the subtraction part separately. I really feel like it's easier to make sure for this problem, before I even read it, I'm telling you right now, we're going to stick to the addition way of doing this for now, okay? Subtraction gets a little weird. I will explain it, but after the addition. Okay. So it says, how many people chose soccer or running? So again, when we see the or in a problem like this, talking about a chart, it means in all. Okay? So I already told you guys we're going to use the addition part. So go ahead and take your data from your picture graph and tell me how many friends voted for soccer or running. All right, I'll give you guys a quick minute. All right, if you're still working on this, that's a-okay. Hit the space bar to pause and then unpause when you're ready. If you're all set to go, let's work on this. Let's figure it out. Let's double check our work, make sure we did it right, because sometimes we can all make very simple mistakes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write down the total of each one. Soccer, we have 4. Tennis, we have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then for running, we have 5. So they want us to combine soccer and running. So we can say, well, we have 4 plus 5, and that equals 9. So just make sure you are careful with your addition. All right, so you should have got 9 as your answer. Now they were saying that there is a subtraction way of doing this, which I think is bananas, but I will explain it to you just so it makes sense, okay? Because I don't want you guys walking away confused about why on earth there would be a subtraction way of doing this. But let me just show you real quick. So when we subtract, and we're talking about all this data, we need to make sure that we know the total. The total here is 16. Maria asked 16 of her friends, right? So what does that first number have to be? It has to be that 16, because that is our big total that we can take away from. So then we would just take the one category that wasn't mentioned at all. So we're talking about soccer and running, right? Soccer, running. Which one do we not talk about in number 5? We didn't mention tennis. So what else we could do is we can actually subtract the tennis votes from the total. So 16 minus 7, and that would, of course, give you 9. Don't worry too much about doing it this way. If you think this is just really cool to do and it makes sense to you, awesome. Feel free to use the methods that work for you. To me, it just makes more sense to do the addition way. But do what works for you. All right, next we're going to go down to number 6. Now I want to make sure I don't cut off too much here. Okay, now what is going on here is we are still going to use this chart, but we're going to be changing some stuff, just like we did in, I believe, lesson number 5. We were altering some charts around to have them make different totals. So I just want to get you guys set up for it by saying that, and let's read it and find out. Marie asks some more friends, and they all chose tennis as their favorite activity. Okay. Now the number of students who like tennis is the same number of students who like soccer or running. How many friends did Maria ask? So, this gets a little tricky. So we already know how many friends voted for soccer or running, right? Let me change my color here. So this was that number we got, right? No matter how we solved it, we got 9. Now they're saying that the tennis votes increased because she has some more friends. The amount of tennis votes grew to this number. So how many more votes does she need to get all these votes up to this new total? Okay? Go ahead, try it on your own. All right, just remember your more friends voted and they all voted for tennis. So these tennis votes grew to that total of soccer and running. How many more votes do we need for that? While you guys are working on that, I'm just going to clear myself some space. All right, as soon as I finish this little quick number line, we're going to get started. So if you are not done yet, do me a favor, hit that space bar, pause the video until you are ready to continue watching and you have given it a very good try. If you are all done and you really think you have the right answer and you really thought about this hard, well, let's continue and go over this to make sure that we did the work the correct way. So we need to increase the amount of tennis votes from 7 to 9. So I made a little short number line that we can increase from 7 to 9. It's very, very short. It's a very short number line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a dot on 7 because that is the amount of votes we already have. And we know it grows to 9. So I'll put a dot there too. All we're going to do now is count the number of jumps. Ready? 1, 2 jumps. So how many more friends did Maria ask? She asked 2 more. Now, if you want to be a math rock star and explain how you know this, feel free to go ahead and write a quick sentence about how you know this. I would love to read it. But But if that just sounds really confusing, don't worry about it. I'm not going to make you guys write all this unless you really, really want to, okay? So, friends in my classroom. Since we finished the video, we did some review. I have an independent practice for you to work on. So if you go to our Google Classroom, okay, click on classwork here. It says Unit 6 Review. Starts with the letter U, has the number 6 in the middle. Click on this and it'll take you to the Savvas website, and there are about, if I remember right, 6 or 7 problems for you to try all on your own. After that, you can go on Pink Cat Games and just practice some math skills, all right? If you have any questions, please let me know. Or if you're not in my class, that's okay. Make sure you let your teacher know if you have any questions, all right? So I will see you guys later.